G'day Warbanders, and today I just want to talk about my experience with the Anvil Empires stress test. Anvil Empires is an MMO, like a medieval MMO where you wage a medieval war across a persistent online world with resource gathering, building, fighting, trading, hunting, supply lines. It has it all. I liken it to a spiritual successor to Mount and Blade Warbands, the mod Persistent World. But instead it's not just the factions, it's actually just it's like Foxhole with 3 factions instead of just you make your own faction. And I just want to talk about my concerns for Anvil Empires, because I feel like there's certain things that I'm worried about when this game comes out. Now I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but this is all just in good faith and hoping that the developers, they course correct and make sure this game comes out, or that, you know, if it comes out in early access or full release, that it's polished like their game Foxhole, and hopefully, you know, they take on the feedback they learnt from the playtest, because there were some things wrong with the playtest that I found very annoying to play with. Like it just some things didn't mesh well and some things did mesh well. And I'll just start with the positives I liked about the stress test. So just to keep in mind, I've only really played the combat, like the siege playtest. I haven't played the previous playtest because, like, the ones involved with the logistics, because my time zone is really fucky, and you know I have access to the, you know, the playtest for the logistics side, but I haven't been able to get in yet. But yeah, I like the large scale battles, the siege mechanics. They feel like I'm playing as an RTS unit in Stronghold, very similar to Foxhole. I love Foxhole, guys. I've been playing that for a bit. I haven't talked about it on the channel a lot. I don't know why I'm talking about Anvil on this channel, but Anvil, Foxhole, you can sort of classify them as strategy games in a sense, because, you know, you are playing as the unit or leading a unit in a sort of strategy game, right? Because the whole world is basically this persistent world where you sort of farm resources, you fight these persistent wars that go over days or weeks or even months. And yeah, I like that aspect, like the full-on, you're a cog on the wheel, you're just one person in this whole big giant world. But there are some limitations to that, and I feel like the developers have to find a balance here. I like the shield wall mechanic. It incentivizes to be a formation of troops instead of everyone just like free for all. You know, like in Warband or Bannerlord, there is an incentive to do a free for all in Mount and Blade. As a Mount and Blade player, you know, you can sort of be outside of formation and still do well. In this, you can't really be outside your formation because it actually debuffs you if you walk outside your shield wall. So basically, if you fight by yourself, you're done for in this game. So you basically need players, otherwise you're just going to get ganked, because the combat is very Zerg-like, which is a good thing and bad thing, but we'll get to that in a second. And yeah, as I said before, it's very similar to Persistent World. So I'm getting a lot of Persistent World vibes from Warband, which I just love to death. And you know, teamwork is really relevant, much more relevant than Foxhole, because you know, you need everyone working the siege engines, you need everyone on the walls, you need to supply your castles. I know that the logistics side wasn't in this playtest, but obviously there'll be some logistics involved with supplying castles and all that. And you know, you have to, you know, just coordinate those shield walls, otherwise you'll just be cut to ribbons individually. So forming those sort of army-like formations is really crucial, and I love that side of the game. And yeah, not much to say on the logistical side, as I said before, because it was just a stress test. But I like the aesthetics of the game. It's going for an early medieval look. Like I can see some historical references, like, you know, there's a Roman faction, there's, you know, a Celtic faction, I think, and then you got a Viking faction, I think. They're very vague and all that. Personally, I feel like they should have gone for, you know, the late medieval period with full plate armor, because I feel like that's what everyone associates the medieval period with. You know, full plate armor with long swords and pole axes. People love that stuff, but early medieval is a little bit less popular, but who cares? It's a game. But yeah. And now I'm just going to talk about the negatives. So for you like people shilling for Foxhole, who love Foxhole, please, this is to help the developers. Okay, I'm a Foxhole fan. Okay, I've been playing since when they added bayonets. So I've been following this developer for a long time. I know I haven't talked about it on my channel, so it looks like I haven't, but you know, I've been playing Foxhole for a while. I haven't been playing all the time because it is a game where, you know, if you have a life, then it's kind of hard to play all the time. So, you know, but yeah, the first sort of point on the negatives is that the combat is, as a Mount & Blade player who has a lot of experience with, you know, directional combat, with skill-based combat, this combat is very Zerg-like. It's not really focused on the individual. There's no skill with it. It's just like you slash and stab. Oh, I block sometimes. There's very little skill expression because all you can do is just stab with left click, left click. It's a very left clicky game to me. It's just very basic to me as a Mount & Blade player, and it quickly becomes boring to me. I actually found operating the ladders and using a bow more fun than the combat, like the sword combat. And also I found the spears were useful because I could actually get kills without getting killed because I was at the back of the line stabbing. So it's just, I don't like Zerg combat because what Zerg combat devolves in is whoever brings the most people wins, basically. Because if you have no skill expression in your combat, it's like, how are the slightly smaller forces going to win? You know, I feel like the commanders, the people who lead the formations, will have the most fun. Like the people leading the shield walls, you know, directing the troops around. I feel like they'll have the most fun in this game. But for the individual, you're not going to have much fun, at least for me. Because when you like make contact with the enemy, people are just going to die straight up. Like straight up in the combat, and then you have to respawn. Oh, I'm back at my camp. I have to walk all the way back. You know, it's kind of just, you know, I want to survive a bit longer. At least in Foxhole, there's multiple things you can do. You know, I can, you know, aim my weapon. If I have good aim, I can kill multiple people if I'm good with shooting, right? I can throw grenades. I can use the right weapon for the right job. I can run up my SMG and spray like 3 or 4 dudes down. I can run around, take cover, suppress, hide in bushes. I can conduct guerrilla warfare against a large enemy if I want to with my mates, you know, like, you know, anyone really. But you know, and you know, I can have the element of surprise in Anvil Empires. There's none of that. You just sit in a shield wall and walk up and left click, or, you know, stab or block sometimes if the arrows are coming at you. I feel like the only skill based, you know, weapons in the game so far are bows and probably siege engines if you consider them weapons. The siege engines take a lot of skill to use because if you don't have that sort of coordination while using the siege weapons, it becomes very hard to break down the walls and all that. And yeah, another problem was the performance. So it was horrible at times, especially at the start with 20 FPS for me. I don't have like the best computer in the world. I don't have like $1 million PC, but like I have like a middle range one probably. RTX 3060. You know, I think that should be enough. I can't remember my CPU, but off the top of my head. But yeah, this is when the servers were at their highest. I know this is a stress test, but hopefully it won't be this bad when it releases into early access. So like it was bordering on unplayable, but as the servers progressed, as the game progressed, I found that the performance got better because people were probably leaving. So, but you know, not all battles will be like this with thousands of players, right? And I found the siege is a bit jank, you know, like the spectacle is really great, seeing all the players going up the walls, you know, at the gatehouses with the siege engines, but it got a bit finicky with the ladders and the, you know, siege towers because, you know, you can't go up the ladder if someone's like standing at the bottom, and you have this whole like mishmash of people at the bottom of the ladder trying to get on, but no one can get on because, you know, someone's standing at the bottom of the ladder. It's just a clusterfuck, and they could have just made it really easy by just clicking on it without there being sort of, oh, there has to not be a person standing at the bottom of the ladder. It's just stupid. Okay, and if you don't have everyone on the siege engine or siege tower, like you don't have all the people on it, it just stops. It's not like Bannerlord where you have like 2 or 3 people. Like at least it can just keep going, but at a slower rate. You know, the movement speed of the siege engines. But if you lose one person in your siege engine, the whole siege engine stops, and you have to wait for some random to hop on the siege engine to keep moving. So it's just kind of bad quality of life. that they could have picked up on a bit, because that's like a crucial element of the game, is getting those siege engines in and doing the damage of the castle. You know, I just feel like it was a big oversight. And yeah, guys, that's my sort of first impressions of Anvil Empires. A very quick video. I know this is not part of the channel, but Anvil Empires, it's basically a strategy game just with you playing as a unit, as I said before. And yeah, guys, if you like my sort of breakdown of Anvil Empires, you want to see more of Anvil Empires, please like and subscribe, comment, tell me what you think. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think that Anvil Empires is going to be great with the Zerg combat? I just don't think so. I'm not a big fan of Zerg combat where I can't, you know, sort of beat, you know, Zergs with skill expression. Like, it's fine to have, you know, an advantage in numbers, but like if I can't, you know, use skill to, you know, counteract the numbers, it's like, you know, what's the point of playing? You know, but yeah, that's just my opinion. Everything's my opinion. And yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.